Parent Learning Hour presents Emotional Language, helping our youth identify their feelings for growth and advocacy. Created and supported by Stone Soup Group and the Fairbanks School District. Hello everyone and welcome. We are so glad you are taking the time to watch this video. Whether you're a parent, grandparent, foster parent, or caregiver, this session was created to help you become emotional coaches for your children and youth so they can understand what they are feeling and give them the skills to advocate for their needs now and in the future. Our kids today are growing up in a world that's fast-paced, overwhelming, and full of new and sometimes scary challenges. One of the most powerful tools we can give them is the ability to identify, express, and advocate based on their emotions. When kids can say, "I feel overwhelmed," instead of just shutting down, when they can say, "I need a break," instead of exploding, they not only handle their emotions better, but they also grow into stronger self-advocates. That's what this video is all about. Let's begin with understanding emotions. One of the easiest ways to introduce this to kids is through characters they already know. Have you ever watched Inside Out 1 and 2? The characters in them, joy, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, anxiety, embarrassment, ennui, and envy, are more than just funny cartoons. They're actually a great teaching tool. They remind kids that emotions live inside us, and every single one has a role to play. Sometimes more than one emotion can happen at the same time, and teaching our kids and youth about this can help them to understand why they may feel different emotions at once. A great example of this is from the movie Home, where the young teen girl is talking about feeling sad mad.
Unfortunately, real life isn't always so simple, and explaining our emotions can be hard. That's why tools like the emotions wheel are so valuable. For younger kids, the wheel expands their vocabulary beyond happy or mad. It helps them say, "I'm frustrated," "I'm nervous," or "I'm excited." For teens, the wheel gets even more detailed. They can start naming emotions like overwhelmed, disrespected, or hopeful. And here's the key. Emotions aren't just about words. They're about what's happening inside the body as well. Sometimes a child might say, "My tummy hurts," and it's not a stomach bug. It's worry. Or a teen might say, "I feel heavy," and that weight is sadness. Teaching our kids to connect what they feel in their body with an emotion gives them the language and awareness to handle it.
This chart can be used as a handy reference for parents and youth to identify what emotion they are feeling based on the physical reactions they are feeling or showing. While not every one of these reactions will apply to your child, it can be a good place to start. You could even build your own for your child by asking them what they feel like inside and what behaviors they are exhibiting for the different emotions so that you can use it in the future.
Our roles as parents and caregivers give us the opportunity to be coaches for our kids in this area. When doing this work with our children and teens, we sometimes have to undergo a powerful parenting shift, and this comes from the questions we ask. Instead of saying, "What's wrong?" try asking, "Why do you think this happened?" This shifts the focus from blame to curiosity, and it tells your child, "I'm actively listening to you." Science also helps us here. A new research study found that the part of the brain called the insular cortex, which helps process sensory information, works differently in people with autism. This can cause them to feel constantly on edge and more easily overwhelmed by sounds, lights, or emotions, which can build up and lead to a meltdown, and shows that the thinking part of the brain actually shuts down. They literally cannot reason, problem solve, or explain themselves at that moment. That's why timing matters when talking about what happened and for building prevention plans in the future. One strategy that can work is the 30-second wait. When you ask a question, give your child a full 30 seconds to answer. In those 30 seconds, their brain has a chance to calm down and reboot. To give you a better idea on how that works, let's try it. For many of our kids with disabilities, using emotional language isn't just a matter of learning new words. Their brains process information differently, and that can affect how they express and manage their emotions. Kids with autism may experience emotions very strongly, but struggle to recognize or label them. Some may not pick up on facial expressions or tone of voice the way other kids do. For children with ADHD or FASD, emotions often come fast and intense. They may go from calm to frustrated in a matter of seconds. Kids with intellectual disabilities or speech delays may have fewer words available to describe feelings, and that can lead to frustration and escalated behaviors. And for some of our children with disabilities, there can be issues with sensory processing challenges, and their emotions may show up most strongly in their bodies, and they may have a hard time expressing what is making them feel overwhelmed. A scratchy shirt or loud noise can trigger what looks like an overreaction, but it's really discomfort layered with emotion.
Parents can help by teaching emotions step by step. Use visual supports like feeling cards, the emotions wheel, or even color codes. For instance, red can mean angry, blue can mean sad. Visuals give concrete anchors for abstract feelings. It helps kiddos when parents model slowing down. You can say, "I see you're feeling big energy right now. Let's take a breath together." Break emotions into short, simple check-ins throughout the day instead of waiting for long talks. Parents can also focus on teaching just a few key words and pair them with gestures, pictures, or routines, especially for kiddos and youth that are non or low verbal. For example, pointing to a happy face picture while saying happy helps reinforce the word. Parents help by naming both the trigger and the emotion or physical feeling, and then helping them find a solution. So they could say, "That sound is too loud. You feel scared and overwhelmed. Let's go find a quiet spot."
Physical items to help our kids include things like fidgets, visual schedules, timers, headphones, and different sensory toys. Every child is different, so not all of these will work or work consistently over time as your child grows. So trying new things is always a good idea.
Another way to increase your child or teen's emotional language is through reading. The benefits from reading are vast and multi-layered. Along with increasing emotional language, it can also strengthen their vocabulary and comprehension, help them understand context and the clues to the world from it. Reading can also be a bonding activity between you and your child, no matter their age. Read to them, have them read to you, or read parallel and then discuss what you have read. Now, books can be expensive and not always an option, so your local library is always a good place to check out. And if your kiddo is more into the digital world and it is easier for them to read ebooks, there are now free apps you can use with your library card. Libby and Hoopla are the two that have a good presence in Alaska, with lots of variety and include ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, graphic novels, and more. One of the big benefits of digital media is that there are settings to make reading easier for our kids that struggle in that area. Things like the font, background, or text size can all be easily changed to suit your reader and help them explore their new worlds. No matter the diagnosis or challenge, here are some guiding tips for parents. Don't blame the kiddo. Remember, a meltdown or shutdown is often the body's way of saying, I can't handle this right now. Keep language simple and concrete. Start with basic emotions and build gradually. Pair words with visuals, gestures, or routines. This makes emotions easier to understand. Model emotional language yourself. Say out loud, I am frustrated, so I am going to take a break. Kids learn best by watching and mimicking. Celebrate effort, not perfection. Even pointing to a picture to say mad is a success worth cheering. When we shift our focus from why won't they behave or make better choices to what skill are they missing and how can I support them, we empower our children. We give them the tools they need to grow their emotional vocabulary in a way that works for them.
So how do we take all this understanding and turn it into advocacy skills for our kids? First, we can give them phrases they can use to stop the adults around them and ask for what they need. Things like, can you explain that another way? I need a break. Please give me more time. I don't understand yet. These simple sentences empower kids to pause situations and make adults reevaluate and offer practical solutions. Second, we need to teach them about their school accommodations. If a child has a 504 or an IEP plan, they need to know what those supports are and how to ask for them. Using phrases like, I have a right to extra time on this test, or I'm allowed to take breaks when I feel overwhelmed. Those are phrases that can help kids understand their rights and know what tools they can access to assist them, which leads to building their self-advocacy skills.
And finally, home accommodations matter too. Things like sensory toys, low lighting, low noise or high noise based on your child's response, textures, soft clothing with no tags, structured preferable breaks, routine schedules, and safety devices can give kids the consistency they need to succeed.
Now let's look at resources available to you and your children. In Alaska schools, you might hear about social emotional learning curriculums like Second Step, a widely used curriculum that teaches kids empathy, emotion management, and problem solving. Another is the Zones of Regulation, a visual-based program that helps kids learn to regulate emotions by color-coding feelings. This is used in many special education programs across Alaska. And then there are cultural-based social-emotional learning approaches, often designed with Alaska Native communities in mind, that connect emotional learning with values of respect, storytelling, and community. Other resources include Mind Up, which is a site and app created by the Goldie Hawn Foundation, which focuses on social emotional learning and mindfulness practices. It has been in existence for over 20 years and has been part of active research in this area. CASTLE, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, is a nonprofit that has been driving social emotional learning in schools for decades and has resources for families and caregivers as well. And of course, tools like the Emotions Wheel are available both online and on our resource page.
For many of our children, it can be difficult and frustrating trying to conform to society's standards, make friends, or find people like them to learn from or look up to. With the advent of the internet and social media, there has been an evolution of positives that can be helpful for our kiddos. State and national organizations like the Alaska Autism Resource Center, the National Down Syndrome Society, and FASD United are great places to access resources and support. Social media content creators can also be a huge help to our youth because they show the reality of being neurodivergent, offer handy tips and tricks, and offer role models they can access and relate to. Representation matters, and seeing themselves in others can help them feel more a part of the world and improve the emotional and advocacy journey they are living. Helping kids find their words helps them find their power. When we teach emotional language, we're not just helping kids calm down. We're giving them the tools to understand themselves and others better and helping them advocate for themselves at school, at home, and in life. As parents and caregivers, you have an incredible role in this journey. Your patience, your curiosity, and your willingness to listen, those are the things that help our kids grow. Remember, you're not alone in this. Resources like Stone Soup Group, your area school district, and Alaska's Department of Education can support you on this journey. Together, let's keep building kids who know their feelings, use their words, and learn how to advocate for themselves and their needs as they grow.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope that it provided useful tools to help you become emotional language coaches for your kids and teens, as well as assisting them in becoming powerful self-advocates. As always, we want to provide even more resources, which you can access using the QR code below. Our next parent learning session, premiering in December, will focus on assistive tech and AI, tools to assist children and teens with disabilities. We will talk a little about what these can be, the different options, and how to use them. If you register for the next session on our community calendar at our website, stonesoupgroup.org, you will get exclusive early access to the video and additional resources by email. If you have any questions or need assistance, please reach out to your local special education department or Stone Soup Group. Once again, thank you for your time. Please have a safe fall season, and we will see you in the next video.